Hello everybody, I'm Sarah. I am the Real Simple Mama, and I am the human who belongs to these 5 feathered brats. So this video is going to mostly talk about Bumblefoot and how I am choosing to treat one of my Easter eggers who's over there on her new grazing box. But I wanted to just show you real quick because I'm kind of excited about just a couple of little things that we've been doing this weekend. I've been really stressed out just about different things going on in our world, in our life, in politics. You know, kind of when you feel like I want to do something, but there's so many things that I don't have control over. Well, guess what? I have control over these birds. So I came out and worked, I don't know, a couple hours today. And I wanted to show you, I've got one bag of topsoil that I haven't put yet. The grazing box is doing beautifully. Like, look, even with 5 chickens, I'll walk over there in a minute, but even with 5 chickens, that wheatgrass is just exploding. I mean, you can see how green it is from here. So certainly, if you haven't seen my video about grazing boxes, then you should check it out. By the end of 2018, I'm also going to write an article that goes step by step into what we did, what we used, all of that kind of stuff. So if you'd like to check it out on realsimplemama.com, you can read it instead of watch it. So let's go on in. Hello, my bird. Hi, so there is a lot more dirt that was added in there. This has been built up. Just lots of silly little things that needed to be done. I appreciate Animal Overload for giving me credit because he built a similar feeder out of PVC. However, if you've seen my other content, you know that this feeder just wasn't working for us. Just the direction we have the coop facing. You know, where we live, where we've got to deal with all these crazy rains and wind and stuff like that. So that PVC feeder, as I learn how to speak, is going to get ripped out of there, and we'll patch up that hardware cloth. That black ceramic bowl in there has what is called feather fixer, which is essentially when your birds are going through a molt. Once you've got adult chickens, and hens and roosters will go through this once a year. Usually when the days start to get shorter and it starts to get colder, so like, you know, right now, end of September, beginning of October. And that was one little side note I was going to say. I thought that maybe Calypso was still being kind of mean to my new Easter eggers because she has that little bald spot. But something spooked them earlier, and I kind of went, "What?" And they went running, and feathers just went in every direction. It was kind of comical. So the bad news is that those girls are going through a molt. The good news is, though, that it means no bullying. So that's good. But yeah, literally, it was like, you know, like a cartoon, like, and feathers just kind of flew everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh. So certainly, once your chickens are over a year old, and I believe hens and roosters are both going to go through it, their laying will slow down, which also may explain why I haven't gotten a blue egg in a week. But if their bodies are going through a molt, essentially, you know, feathers are not like fingernails. They don't continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. Hey, you knock it off, woman. They don't continue to grow and grow. A feather just stays a feather, and it doesn't grow or change until it falls out. And then once it falls out, obviously, a new feather has to come in. So there'll be that awkward period where their body kind of goes into bare necessities, not to be punny or anything, but where it's, hey, you know what, egg laying is not the priority right now. The priority is, you know, I need to grow my feathers back. So, I mean, you can see if I zoom in again, like just how fluffy they are. They look kind of like, you know, when your dogs, they're blowing their coat, and you can just grab, as I zoom back out, and you can just grab like chunks of fur off of your dogs. It's kind of the same thing with the chickens. So I'm really glad that they're still very leery of Calypso, as you just witnessed. But, you know, thankfully it's not, it's more based on just the initial pecking order thing, as opposed to the bullying is continuing. So that's good. While we're right here, this is called a shepherd's hook, and it's just a garden tool. You can hang feeders or, you know, I don't know, wind chimes or random stuff. And I wanted to show you because I was so proud, although, oh my gosh, okay, never mind, here it is. I was afraid my squirrel stole my hook. I've had treat balls and things before, and they lasted like a day. And my resident squirrels, I have multiple squirrel nests up there, they like ran off with the entire treat ball. So it's like, thanks a lot. But you've always, this is kind of like a joke with a couple of chicken friends and I, that you always hear people like, oh, well, hang up a head of lettuce or cabbage and your chickens can play tetherball with it. And it's a great way for them to, you know, to keep them busy and for them to develop their critical thinking skills and all of this other stuff. But nobody ever explains how they actually tied up the lettuce. So it's like, okay. So we have a chain. I didn't want anything that was, you know, like string or fabric or anything that was going to get gross after being outside. And then looped to that, got a screw hook. Stuck it down in the bottom of the head of lettuce, twisted it through, hung it up like so. And they had fun with it all day. It took them all day to go through it. So that was pretty cool. So let's talk about Bumblefoot. So this is my first experience going through this, and I started the treatment last night and this morning with Miss Moppet, who is the Easter egger who has the bigger bald spot on her and the smaller comb. She's the one who just went running that way. It's you. So she has a very small bumblefoot on both feet. Now you can see she's walking normally. You don't notice any swelling, or you wouldn't think anything was wrong just looking at her. So I'm grateful that I caught it when I did. We clipped their wings right before we let them out with the rest of the flock after they had been in quarantine and we were adjusting for a week. So she's got 2 little spots, 1 on each foot pad. And I did kind of a Bumblefoot dilemma video where I was like, here are the different treatment options. I don't know what to do. And now I've got, like, this is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like, you know, chicken medical services. Step right up. So here's what we've got going on. This is where the girls got fresh raw garlic. That spot that's been dug up in the ground, that's where they all picked up their garlic, which is just sort of like an antibiotic booster. And that's good, you know, just every once in a while for chickens to eat raw garlic. When it gets cold, I put raw garlic in cooked oats. The long way oats, not quick oats, but the long way oats, and that way it's nice and warm. And then I put, like, it's essentially garlic oatmeal, but it's just a nice treat for them. There is the raw apple cider vinegar, and I would like to make a complaint, Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply, in the area that had the medications and stuff, which I'll show you in a second, they had apple cider vinegar there for sale, but it was just like a cheap kind that doesn't have the mother in it. So this brand is Bragg, and it's not that expensive. I think it's probably less than $5, and you can see after multiple treatments, just putting a couple of tablespoons in the water, I mean, this is going to last me easily all season. So this is basically unfiltered apple cider vinegar. So what they're talking about, the mother, is the dark stuff down at the bottom. Please don't let me drop this. That would be a very stinky mishap. And so essentially you shake it up and you can put it in their water. Apparently, you know, chickens, obviously, if they're eating raw garlic, to a certain extent, they don't have taste buds as sensitive as we do. I haven't looked in depth into, you know, how much they can taste. I'm sure they have some sort of a taste, but apparently my girls actually really like the ACV in the water. I believe the ratio is 1 tablespoon per 1 gallon. So this 5-gallon bucket has 5 tablespoons of ACV in it, along with, you know, being full of water. I also gave them that feed in there that's good for, it's just a higher protein content when they are molting, to help their body recover a bit faster, because molting can take up to 12 weeks to get through their system. So, you know, Gracie is still trying to grow her feathers back in. Lacey and Calypso haven't shown any signs yet, but so they have their regular food that's in that feeder there, and then they've also got that. I did throw more grit out there, more eggshells out there, so they've got a vast selection of things. And as usual, Lacey's the one who's like, hey, y'all can go do whatever, I don't care, I'm gonna eat. She's always eating. So they've got more dirt in there for their dust baths and all that stuff. So for my little Bumblefoot station, and this isn't, you know, a good example because this was sterile. It's got like acorn caps in it. So we've got the ACV that I'm only putting in the water. That's not the kind of thing you want to put like directly on their skin or anything. My antibacterial soap, that's just to clean everything. This is just Epsom salt, which is super, super cheap. And you're going to use that in the bath. And then this is a cheaper equivalent to Vetricin. And this is basically a super, 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 super diluted acid. And before I try to remember which one it is, active ingredient, hypochlorous acid. Okay, now just so you know, and I took some pictures, so whenever I do actually write an article about my experience with Bumblefoot, I'll tell you, this is 0.009% of this acid in here. Vetricin is 0.012, so it's 12 thousandths versus 9 thousandths. And to me, this being a cheaper bottle and Me reading about the stuff here on the back, I felt like, you know what, for this being way cheaper and a bigger bottle, I don't think 0.003 of a difference is going to make or break my bird healing. So I went ahead and got this brand. So this is what I've got, and it is in the poultry section of your feed store. You can buy it on chewy.com. You can buy it on Amazon, I'm sure, petco.com, look for it. This bottle was on sale for, I believe, $17. The Vetericyn was, I think, $22. So here's what we're going to do, and I'm not going to do it right now because I only have 2 hands. If I was a chicken-owning octopus, then we would have a different situation. So, and you guys are going to laugh because it was just super comical, me trying to take care of this bird last night and today. So the bird who's sulking over there, she is very wild. She is new to us, and as you can see, my other girls, when I go in there, they're like, hey, what's up? What's going on? You got anything to eat? And they follow me around, and they come right up to me, and they're cool. Those 2 girls are still very scared, so my only opportunities to really try and catch them are when they're locked up. Either at night, they've gone on to bed on their own, and then I grab them, or in the morning before I let them out, and they're all trapped, and they're hanging out, right here. Those are my 2 choices, and what I'm going to try to do is do this bath and this process at least twice a day. I'm hoping, as Nikki suggested in a previous video, maybe all of this handling of Miss Moppet, is going to help her be calmer and to trust me, because once I catch her and I'm holding her in my arms, she's chill, she's good, she's calm, she doesn't freak out anymore. I wrap her up in a towel. Hello, Breeze. I wrap her up in a towel and she's okay. We had a moment this morning where I was just talking to her softly and she was just looking at me, like looking at me in the eye. Like I should have named her Blue. If you follow the Jurassic World movies, because it's like, you are so wild and you do your own thing, but I feel like you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so here's what I'm going to do for the Bumblefoot. Instead of me cutting her open and operating on her on what I consider to be a level 1, maybe level 2, maybe level 2.5 Bumblefoot case in the diagnosis levels, which go up to level 5. Again, she's not acting any different. She's going through a molt too, the poor thing, and she's new here. She's the new kid on the block, so it's kind of like, ugh. But as far as her suffering from the Bumblefoot, I don't feel like it's serious enough to where it's like, yep, we need to hold her down and cut her open, and she have like this basically like this gaping hole in her foot, actually in both feet because she's got 2, and I need to wrap it multiple times a day, and it would be like an abscess, and it's like, no, we're not going to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is, it's now Sunday, I'm going to do this treatment, which is a 2-step treatment. I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute, up through Friday. And then by Friday, if I feel like she's not getting better, she's starting to act worse, I'm going to be taking pictures of the scabs every day, because I bought a cool little light that straps onto my head. It's like a headlight, so now I'm like super awesome, and I can take pictures and see what I'm doing in the dark, so that I can kind of watch day to day, okay, this treatment, yes, it's working, and here's day 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and if it's not, then next weekend I've got a friend, actually Yuri, the lady who's given me these 4 birds, she's going to come and help me. We're going to do like chicken surgery, $5, and we'll get the scalpel and do the whole thing. So here's what we do, and this is from thanks to Homegrown, thanks to Dean for your help in looking at different things that you can do, because like I said in my Bumblefoot dilemma video, everybody's got an opinion on, yes, you need to do surgery. If you see it, then it's only going to get worse, and you need to go ahead and cut them open now and start that process now. And other people say, no, don't do anything at all. Don't even do this. So I'm doing a more conservative remedy, because again, just knowing this bird, everything that she's been through, she's going through a molt. She's not acting to me like she's in any pain. I checked the feet again this morning. I felt them again this morning. There is a dark colored scab, but everything underneath the foot pad, like sort of like in the palm of your hand, that squishy part of your hand, it still feels very soft. It's not hard to the touch. There's no pus coming out. I don't feel a hard kernel. So I feel like, okay, I feel justified in not cutting her open. So I am going to start treating her, but a more conservative way, instead of like, getting the scalpel and cutting her open and having to bandage her and quarantine her, and just being, you can imagine how traumatic that would be for any bird, but especially one who's new and still afraid and going through a molt, and it's just like, oh geez. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Some people recommend that you do this, you know, inside, like in your kitchen. Like the chicken chick, she like sterilizes everything in her kitchen, you know, brings the bird in, sterilizes everything in between, wears gloves, things like that. I'm assuming that's for a very severe case. And again, this is my first experience with it, so everything I'm going on is, I read here that you do this, and I looked online and they said that you do this, and then this person said to do this. So again, this is from everybody else's experiences. It's not from mine yet. So sort of like what I do with a lot of my other videos, it's like, let me tell you all of the different options that I have learned about, and that way you know that you do have options, and if you get into this situation, you can pick what's best for you. So here's what we do. I'm going to do this outside, but the first step is having clean towels, a clean bowl, or you know, something that can hold a couple of inches of water. And here's what you do. I would set this up before you catch the bird, especially if you get to do it alone like I do. So you're going to get warm water, and essentially warm water and Epsom salt. So I do 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt to 1 cup of warm water. I did about 4 cups last night. So 4 cups of water, 4 tablespoons. I want the water to be pretty warm just because, remember, the bird's temperature, their body temperature will change most rapidly through their feet. You know, more rapidly than something on their head or something on their back. And I don't want her to get chilled, even though she's wrapped in a towel. But, you know, I mean, as you can tell, it very much feels like autumn here in South Texas. Hooray, I'm so excited. So 4 cups of warm water, 4 tablespoons of Epsom salt. Just stir it around a little bit and get the Epsom salt to dissolve, not devolve. That would be bad. Go catch your bird. You need their feet exposed, obviously. You need their beak exposed so that they can breathe. But if you can cover up their eyes, that's awesome, especially if your bird is a bit more afraid. Again, you want to hold your bird firmly against you with both of their wings up against your body, because they will try to flap to get away, and they want their feet to feel supported so they don't feel like, oh my God, I'm suspended and I'm falling. So you can get, like Yuri, the original owner of these birds, said get a tube sock, cut the end of the toe off, and then go whoop and slip it over their head like a hood, sort of like if you want to pretend you're a falconer. And just make sure that their beak is out so that they can breathe just fine. But if you can cover up their eyes and just make them feel like they're safe. So then you want to put the birds and pretend, for all intents and purposes, this is your bird's foot. Get your foot down, or feet in my case, right? Because I got 2 feet to deal with. Down in the water, and you want to massage this palm space where the scab is. You're not scraping it off with your thumbnail or anything. You just want to get circulation going. Make sure that the Epsom salt in the water can absorb up through that pad. If it's a more severe case, I've read also that you can, you know, move the foot to make sure, again, that they're not standing on it and cutting off circulation. So if you can do that for a minimum of 5 minutes, I've read somewhere to do it up to like 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know who thinks they can like hold a bird in water, maybe a duck, but not a chicken for 20 or 30 minutes. But the point is that you try to do it consistently. So 5 minutes, then here's what I'm going to do. Take the bird out. I'm still holding her. She's still wrapped up in a towel, right, with her little feet out. Dry off the feet as best you can. And also the bonus is if there's any like new poop or new mud from that morning or whatever, it'll be in here and you can dump that out, and you just clean their feet too. Because this is difficult. You're trying to take care of a wound on a bird that essentially like stands in dirt all day. It's like, okay. So the next step that I'm going to do, and I won't like read this verbatim to you, but basically it says you want to spray this to saturate the whole area. If you are doing this, because this is good for like all different kinds of wounds, if you were doing this on a part of the body that had feathers, you want to trim or move the feathers out of the way first, because obviously you want this getting to the skin. But you just want to spray it until it's saturated. If the wound is really, really bad, it says then you can wrap it up afterwards. Otherwise, just like hold the bird for a second until it starts to dry a little bit, and then send them on their merry way. Like essentially with just this on their foot. And then it says this you can apply up to 3 or 4 times a day. So as often as I can try to get this bird, I'm just going to spray her feet. To me, the ideal time to do this is going to be when she's going to bed, because then she's up there, that PDZ, excuse me, and everything in there has been completely cleaned out. So it's all new, it's all good to go. But I mean, then she's just going to be chilling in there all night, and I know she's not digging around and knocking the stuff off. So that's going to be the plan from today, which is Sunday, until Friday, is just to do the first step, which is the soak, you know, make sure we're getting all the dirt and stuff off her feet, and then just working her like, you know, like a little chicken foot spa. We've got like chicken pedicures going on here. And then dry the feet, make sure they're good to go, and then spray this liberally. And I mean, this bottle is, I mean, at least 8 ounces, right? Oh yeah, it's an 8-ounce bottle. And let me, for all intents and purposes, Come on. I mean, spraying a chicken foot liberally, that's going to take a long time to go through 8 ounces. Hopefully this bottle will last me at least a year. So that's the plan on a conservative approach to Bumblefoot in a chicken. Again, this is my own opinion. I do now have a chicken vet in the area who I can call, I can send pictures to, I can take this bird. You know, because again, I'm not dying to pay somebody to do surgery on a chicken I literally got for free, but it's also like, this is a little life who needs you. So it's kind of just knowing your individual situation, knowing your options, because you can't make the best decision if you don't know you have choices. And just going from there. So I've got my towel ready to go. Hey-yo. Sorry. I've got my towel ready to go here. I'll bring warm water out and clean this thing out later. So I've got the 2 steps that I'm going to do as often as I can. I'm going to continue to do garlic, you know, offer the food, because again, she's also dealing with molting and all kinds of other craziness. So just to help out this bird. But I mean, they're loving their wheatgrass. I mean, it looks so bright from here, like the bright green. It's just beautiful to see. I gave them some flowers. They've got peppermint now growing over here. The sad little peppermint that was on clearance at Walmart, because that's what I do. I feel sorry for plants and I buy them. And so they're going to be getting some other herbs growing in here. I'll do an herb video soon about like, these are herbs that you can plant that the chickens will eat, and here are herbs that you can plant that they won't eat, and etc., etc. So this is the plan right now for all of you who have been giving me suggestions, doing research for me. J.A., thank you so much. Dean, you're awesome. And everybody who's been giving me their opinions and their experience. So let me know what you think about this. Obviously, I can't show day-to-day pictures here on YouTube, but I will do a Bumblefoot video, or excuse me, a Bumblefoot article probably once this nightmare is over. I mean, it'll probably be like January, so then we can say, you know, hey, a couple of months afterwards, here's what it looks like. But then I'll have all those pictures on my article. So, lots of stuff going on. Girls, here they come. Okay, sorry. If you didn't know, Jurassic Park and all of the Jurassic Park movies are like some of my favorite movies, so I quote them a lot because I'm cool. But that's what's going on. I'm just out here hanging out with the birds in this beautiful breeze and just feeling grateful for the work that we got done today. My husband was so cute. He came out with his wire cutters and with his pliers, and he was like, I'm worried about that the chickens are going to cut their feet on the end of this hardware cloth. So he sat and like bent each individual one down, and we added some extra little hooks in there to keep the hardware cloth down, because now he's worried about all the chicken feet, because I have been so stressed about this, guys. Like, you have no idea how stressed I've been. So hopefully she will say thank you by giving me blue eggs and lots of love. And I would love to love on Miss Moppet, so hopefully she'll be cool. / Blue. It's going to be her other name. You my girl, Blue. So I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama, and now I'm just being ridiculous, because I'm just happy and hopeful after a ridiculously stressful week. Worried about this bird, worried about other things going on. So now we have a plan. So I'll do another Bumblefoot video here in early / mid-October to tell you what I think about this treatment, if it's been working or not. Hopefully I can help some more people. So thanks, guys.